All right, Martin, let's get there. Aaron Rodgers, his weekly interview with Pat McAfee happened today and made a little bit of news by basically owning up a little bit to what he said last week. And, he didn't fully apologize or admit that he lied. He said he misled people. I think he flat out lied. He was asked a direct question. Was he vaccinated? The answer was either yes or no. And he said he was immunized, but he was not vaccinated. So he finally spoke up for that. But he still stood by his statements and his comments. And I'm going to start here, Martin. As much as there's a lot of people out there, not only do they admire Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback and his ability, I think he's the best quarterback. I'm talking about skill set, not accomplishment, skill set that I've ever seen. He's got touch. He can throw the ball far, long, far. He can avoid pressure. He can run for a first down. His pinpoint accuracy. He doesn't turn the ball over. Seldom does he throw interceptions. He does everything you would love to see a quarterback do. And with that, there's a lot of people who admire him and look at him as a role model, whether he wants to be or not. There are.
And whether they should or not, honestly, it's just the nature of the business that he's in.
Absolutely. You don't get to say, well, I don't want to be a role model. That's not how it works. And I read a piece written by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar today. Did you see that piece, Martin?
I did.
It was well done by Kareem. Just well done, well laid out. And he talked about the responsibility of being a role model and people look up to you. And Aaron has it twisted. It's okay to just want to be your own man and say, I don't want to do this. I don't feel good about it, whatever your reason. I just don't want to do it. I think if you say that and you move on, people can accept it and you don't sound crazy and you're not putting out misinformation. But what people have a problem with is when you're one of those people and somebody who people looked up to, when you lie straight to people's face, it's hard for people to look at you at any other time down the road and take you at face value. And it just is, Martin.
And that's really what the crux of the matter is, right? Because Aaron Rodgers the first day he went on McAfee, I believe it was Friday, coming out after it came out that he had caught COVID and all of that. He goes out and says, one of the last things he says in his 45-minute residency on this show, he goes, this needs to be a conversation, not a controversy. Well, the fact of the matter is, Aaron, you missed the boat for it to be a conversation because we've had these conversations about several players. We had it about Kirk Cousins. We had it about Carson Wentz. We had it about Lamar Jackson twice, Rob, because he caught COVID twice.
Has he been canceled by cancel culture or the woke mob? Did they come for him?
No, apparently the woke mob has missed out with the cancel culture nails for Lamar Jackson's coffin because he's only, depending on where you look at it, the front runner or second runner up for NFL MVP right now.
Hello. Exactly.
And that's the biggest thing. Aaron Rodgers took advantage of a situation in which you have a whole bunch of reporters who are asking these questions, whether or not, I'm not even sure if they were in person in that moment in time because of the way of the world that we live in with COVID and so on and so forth. Like, they had to wear masks, had to be separated, social distance, so on and so forth. Somebody asks you if you're vaccinated and you respond with, I'm immunized, and then knowing that the pushback has come back with, well, is that a HIPAA violation? Is that a this? Is that a this? I don't feel comfortable answering that. People are going to go ahead and take that at face value. But the deeper thing about all of it, what we assumed that he was vaccinated. I didn't even need to hear the press conference. Whether or not the press conference had occurred or not, I'm looking at his actions on the sidelines of when I'm watching the television, when I'm watching the games. I'm seeing him in the practice that they shoot from Green Bay and send back to the different television networks to disseminate throughout the country. He's not doing the things that you said you're supposed to be doing if you are unvaccinated or
so that's why you would, right.
That's the controversy. That is the controversy. It's not that you're unvaccinated, Aaron Rodgers. Or it's not that you have your own vaccination protocols or immunization protocols, or you want to go talk to Joe Rogan or whoever and take ivermectin and who knows what. That's not the problem. It's really not. It's the problem is that you hid it from everybody.
Right. And you didn't allow those reporters in the press conference to even have a chance, Martin, to be like, wait a minute, you got it? We need a mask, or we need to do Zoom, or we need to be, you know what I mean? Like, if you're not vaccinated, you don't know what, and you could say your teammates and all those people knew. Many people did not know. That's the problem. Everybody didn't know. Everybody wasn't in the locker room. And then for you to do that stuff. And so let's take a listen of what Aaron Rodgers said today, where he kind of apologized, but, you know, like, at least acknowledged, I should say, some wrongdoing, but he stood by what he said earlier.
Look, I shared an opinion that is polarizing. I get it. And I misled some people about my status, which I take full responsibility of. But in the end, I have to stay true to who I am and what I'm about. And I stand behind the things that I said, and I, have a ton of empathy for people who have been going through the worst part of this pandemic, which has affected all of us in different ways. But so many people, like I said, with lives that were lost, lives that were forever changed, and I have a ton of compassion and empathy for those people. And I've tried to help out, as much as I can. The other stuff is so out of my control, and there's going to be people that don't like you, that don't and hate you for things you said, or might not even understand what you said or know what you said. It might just seen a headline, and that's fine. I believe that people are entitled to their opinion, and even if it's an opinion that's unfavorable of me. But I'm going to continue to try and be the best version of me moving forward, and I'm excited about getting back on the field as soon as possible.
And there it is. I mean, I just, even Kyrie was up front, right? He didn't want to do it. Okay, you stay home. The Nets didn't want any part of a part-time player, right? Martin, that's it.
I mean, here's the thing. In this country, you can pretty much do and say whatever you want within reason, especially if it's only going to affect you, right?
That's you can't have misinformation to the masses.
But what you can't do is expect that your actions come without actions do not come with lack of consequence. Right? Like, you don't get to just do whatever you want at carte blanche and not expect the other things to come down to you. Like Kyrie Irving, he does not want to get the vaccine. Okay. Well, you know what he didn't have a problem with? All the other things that came with it are the problem, or rather, the other things that came with him not taking the vaccine did not outweigh his unwillingness to get it. Right, the other negatives, him going and him not playing basketball this year, or him maybe only playing it on the road, or him maybe playing in the All-Star game. We'll talk about that in a little bit. None of those consequences impacted Kyrie's decision enough to make him change his mind, right? So, but the Aaron Rodgers thing, he was not willing to take the consequences of his actions, and the idea that you're going to quote Martin Luther King Jr. behind unjust law. Well, Martin Luther King Jr. wrote that letter inside a Birmingham jail. He wrote it literally suffering the consequences of the actions that he chose because he felt that the laws were unjust. Aaron Rodgers did none of that, and it's just disingenuous to make him out to anybody but a liar at this point in time. Great quarterback? Absolutely. One of the best first ballot Hall of Famer? Absolutely. Absolutely, honestly, a liar at this moment in time.
No, there's no other word. I don't even know what else you could say. And what was it? The health company in Wisconsin dropped him because it's a conflict of interest, right? They're there for people's wellness. How can they have one of the spokesmen talking about, giving misinformation about COVID and about the vaccine? You could say you don't want to take it, and this is the other thing too. With McAfee, that he's not a reporter. He's not going to ask follow-ups, Martin. He's not going to press Aaron Rodgers to explain when you say you're allergic to whatever. Okay, so you talk to the doctor. Did he say what doctor told you couldn't take it? And exactly are you allergic to? No, I mean, if you want to make that case. I think
that's a fair criticism. But the part of the problem that I have is with this whole COVID situation, the way that people are dancing on eggshells around it and saying it's personal responsibility, the actual reporters in the room didn't feel like they needed to follow up. It's not about Aaron Rodgers gave the impression with his answer that no follow-up was
not
needed.
There, but
I understand what you're saying, but I'm just having trouble because we could have figured this out on August 26th.
No, because you couldn't have, because by his answer, even when he said there are players or whatever who who I'm not going to pass judgment for because they haven't done it, or they like he made the thing that those are other people who are unvaccinated and I'm not going to pass judgment against them. So that's why there's no follow-up to that. If you listen to the soundbite, he clearly puts himself not in the party of the unvaccinated because he said he wasn't going to pass judgment on those people who decided not to do it. That doesn't sound like, well, I'm in that group. So I don't blame reporters that day, Martin, for not following up and asking him again because he was asked a direct question. Go back and listen to that sound, and I don't think there's any doubt in anybody's mind.
I don't fault them for not following up either. My only point in saying that, not killing Pat McAfee for not being a tried and true Big J journalist and asking follow-ups is Aaron Rodgers has shown a propensity to not answer the question regardless.
I get it, but it just to allow a guy just to talk and not explain himself thoroughly is as a job of an interviewer. Okay, you might not have gone to J school, Martin, but you don't do a good job for the listener.